Welcome to App Judgment, your source for mobile app news and reviews. I'm Mauricio Balvanera.
I'm Graham Hancock.
We have iOS 6. It has officially landed. You actually had a GM a few days before.
I installed the GM, I think, on Friday.
Yeah,
so,
the Gold Master.
The Gold Master, which meant that you didn't have to be a developer to try it, because it's the exact same file that got delivered today. So,
yeah. So you've had a little bit more hands-on experience with this. Lots of new features, actually, as a matter of fact, over 200. We're going to go over the list of some of the major stuff, beginning with Maps. I think it's basically the biggest change.
That's the biggest thing. When you install iOS 6, a lot of people may know about this, that Google Maps are going away, or have gone now, and you have this new Apple Maps app. So Apple has completely engineered this thing. They're using some data from a couple of different sources, including TomTom, which is, I'd say, a good source, because they're in charge of doing lots of GPS things with their own products.
I'm a big TomTom fan. That was my default GPS app on
and I actually pretty recently downloaded their GPS app and have been using it instead of my Garmin in my car. So like, I'm totally confident that the maps are a solid start, and I think some people are running into road bumps and not finding things to be as up to date as they were on the Google Maps thing.
You have to really consider, and I think Patrick brought this up earlier, that Google's been developing their map application for over 4 years, almost 5 years. This is basically Apple's first foray into it, and it looks amazing. It's still rough around the edges, especially in 3D mode. I think I compared it to looking at soggy cardboard buildings.
Sometimes.
We've got only 199 more items to go.
Right.
Turn-by-turn navigation, that's an obvious, that's a good one. And that's available on the iPhone 5, the 4S, and the iPad with Wi-Fi with cellular
are the two most recent iPads.
Exactly. Real-time traffic information, flyovers for photorealistic interactive 3D views. We just talked about that. Again, limited to a certain subset of phones. Local search resorts with Yelp photo, ratings, reviews, all that stuff. They're really starting to integrate some of the more social services on there.
The Yelp reviews are amazing, where it's like, usually on Google Maps, I'll be like, I'm thinking about going to this place to eat, and now it just pops up the Yelp ratings and reviews and photos, and it's just like a much richer experience. So I like that about the new apps.
Very cool. Now, you've had more experience with Siri. I don't have Siri on. I have the second generation iPad.
Siri is doing a lot of interesting things now. When it first debuted, there was it was very basic. It was like, remind me of this, set an appointment for this, and search the web for that. Now Siri can actually do some practical things, like find out movie times. Like, that was the biggest thing I wanted. It can launch apps now, so you can say, Siri, launch Twitter. Twitter launches once it registers that, and you can also do sports scores. They're building Siri out and improving it.
And since you can now hook into Facebook at a system-wide level, you can post now from Photos, Safari, Maps, the App Store. Game Center has had some updates. We'll talk about that later, but a little more access from all over the OS.
Pretty great. I'm glad that Facebook is finally a part of iOS. It's been something people have wanted for a really long time.
So tell me a little bit more about the shared photo streams. I think you've had a little more time with this.
It's pretty neat. It's sort of like, how we've got apps like Path, where we can share photos to only our immediate friends, and it's not like a public thing. I know you can set privacy settings in Facebook and stuff like that, but that's kind of tedious. What if I just want to share photos with my mom? So all I have to do is set a custom album of just the photos that I want my mom to see, and share that photo stream with her. And you just put in an Apple ID, and it will pop up on their phone, and they'll accept, and now you'll have sort of a channel of sharing photos with that other person. And it can be with more people too. It can be with a group of people as well.
Is this using iCloud basically to?
Basically, yeah. And it's sort of, so it's a photo stream where whenever I take a picture and it puts that photo into that album, then it automatically syncs to that other person's device.
Okay, Passport, that's another big deal. We know that, I'm sorry, Passbook. I think Passport, because it was the initial scramble at the airports to try to get everything working. I know it wasn't fully functional this morning. Did you have any
So right now it's still kind of being rolled out. iOS 6, during the entire beta period, I don't think anyone really used Passbook, because it totally depends on the third-party apps hooking into it. It's a lot like Game Center. Game Center, when it first launched, wasn't really, you couldn't demo it because the apps themselves had to be updated first.
In case you don't know what it is, by the way, it's basically a place where you can store your passes, your store cards, movie tickets, anything that, especially if it's like barcode related, you don't have to keep these things in your pocket. You don't have to have board rewarding passes. At least that's the idea right now. And
and it's also like gift cards. Like say I have a $20 Starbucks card.
Yeah.
I can put that in my passbook and just show it at the register, and they can scan.
Which I'm sure they're upset about because they count on people losing those cards.
I think they do. Yeah.
It's a big part of the business.
But the coolest thing, there's some hidden features. I won't say hidden, you know, like because they're just not being talked about as much. Passbook has some cool stuff like time-sensitive things and geolocation, where if I have a Starbucks card in my passbook and my phone sees that I'm near a Starbucks, it will put that particular barcode up on my lock screen. So that I don't even have to unlock my phone to use that pass at the Starbucks that I'm in.
That's
because
pretty cool.
It knows I'm at a Starbucks. So that's cool things like that I think people are going to discover as they begin to use Passbook and find out how, you know, I feel like that's a pretty huge deal. Like if I have a movie ticket and I get to the movie theater, my phone just knows that's where I'm at and just scan it. Yeah.
That's awesome. FaceTime, we played a little bit with this. So the biggest update is now you can use it over 4G or 3G, whatever. It's not a Wi-Fi only conversation.
If you're on AT&T, there's a little catch. You have to change plans to get it. A lot of people are complaining about this. We'll see how long AT&T holds out. Even the FCC is getting involved.
Yeah, you may notice AT&T is in the news a lot lately because of this decision. Not sure how long that policy is going to last.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll report on that as it happens. But right now, if you are on Verizon, Sprint, and all of the other carriers that are carrying iPhone 4S right now, and eventually the 5, you'll be able to use FaceTime over the cellular network and not just Wi-Fi.
Right. Do not disturb. This is a new interesting concept, and you actually, I think, put it correctly. It's kind of like an advanced silence feature.
Yeah, it's some people are asking, well, how is this different from airplane mode?
Right.
Well, you know, most people used the airplane mode in this way, where it's like, I don't want any calls right now. Turn on airplane mode. But you do kind of run the risk of, well, if there is actually a call or an emergency or something like that, you're going to miss that, or it'll go straight to voicemail. This will leave your radios on the cell phone, but will stop the notifications and the ringtones and things like that. So basically set it when you're going into a meeting, set it if you're going to sleep at night and don't want to be disturbed. A movie's a good example.
You can schedule things too. You can schedule, like, don't bother between 11 and 8 in the morning.
These are the quiet hours. So it's pretty interesting. I think a lot of people, you'll just kind of find out how that's going to work for you, or if you're even interested in using it. I tend to leave my phone on all the time, especially like at night. If there is an emergency or something like that, I don't want it. I want to be able to hear that. Reply
with message. This is a kind of a cool calling option. I'm used to this
busy
on my
and important
Android
right now.
Yeah, I love the idea with my Galaxy Nexus of just swiping with a can't talk now. Call me back, or WhatsApp. You know, you have various texting options at the quick swipe. So, welcome to that, Apple. New VIP mailbox. I added you, and I added Allison, and I'm still building that list. But that's kind of a cool concept that Gmail has had for a while.
Right, the important, this message is important kind of concept.
Right. Mail actually had a lot of updates. You can now flag email mailboxes. This is an interesting one. You can now insert photos and videos when composing an email. You just do sort of a long hold on the screen, and you'll get the insertion option. 1 password protected Office docs. Pull down to refresh. That's kind of a cool thing to see finally in the mailbox. Multiple signatures per account. Huge Safari improvements as well. I don't know if you saw any of these. Good,
a lot of under the hood stuff, iCloud improvements, JavaScript stuff, so it's faster now. There's also, you can now upload photos through Safari. So if you're changing your profile picture on a website, you can choose a photo from your phone now and upload that through the browser. You could not do that in the past. So
there's a new iCloud button that will tell you what tabs you have open on other machines, which is pretty cool.
If you're using Safari.
If you're using Safari, I was like, where are my Chrome tabs? Oh, that's
You have to use the Chrome browser on the iPhone for that.
Offline reading list, that's a pretty awesome option there. Full screen landscape support now for the iPhone and the iPod Touch. The App Store went through a huge facelift. This is, we've been talking about the Chomp acquisition, I want to say, for like a year and a half or more.
Kind of looks like Chomp.
It looks like Chomp now. You know, I'm not complaining. It looks like there's an emphasis on the app icons now. They're much bigger. You've got these column views.
Feels like they're definitely integrating a lot of Chomp-esque design cues, as well as the way things are being presented and ordered by.
Right. iTunes now has preview history, complete my season, complete my album. This is if you've purchased individual episodes or songs on your device. It'll now fill that up just like you could on your desktop. Game Center went through a few changes too. These are improvements. You can now challenge your friends to beat high scores and achievements, post high scores and achievements to Facebook and Twitter, friend recommendations based on your Facebook friends. These are all they're not like huge Game Center announcements.
Just some tweaks and some small improvements so people kind of continue to use that. I think it actually has been quite popular.
Yeah, I agree.
For people that are playing the casual games that are coming out on iOS.
Guided access has improved with some interesting updates here. It'll limit device to one app or restrict touch input to certain areas of the screen. Basically meaning, and I'm sure you're going to see this in brick and mortar stores where they create an app for the store and basically lock you into that app. You can't go to the home screen or anything.
And the only way to get out of it is by some special gesture and a passcode or something like that. So.
There's a new clock app for the iPad. This is kind of a duh, finally, why didn't you do this before? Great alarm, great stopwatch, and I think the best part is that they're not using the leather look.
It looks like they're going in a more modern, stylish, like steel and glass look.
Yeah.
So no more leather or scrapbook paper design cues.
If you're looking for a new clock app, you got it.
You got it for free.
I think one of the interesting updates is to the Bluetooth protocol. It now supports MAP, which is Message Access Profile. Basically, this means that you're going to be able to, if you have a BMW or one of these cars that has...
that can read your text messages out aloud for you. It has access to that now.
Better two-way communication. We're also, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more smartwatches. The Pebble is coming out soon.
The Pebble should be able to use that protocol.
Yeah, if you bought into that Kickstarter, the iPhone 5 will be, well, iOS 6 in general will be much happier with that smart watch. Everything else beyond that are really kind of smaller updates, language updates, bug fixes, but these were the major updates to iOS 6. Pretty cool in general. I don't mind it. Has your phone been snappier at all?
I have actually noticed my phone not being as snappy, and I feel like there's a conspiracy theory out there. Like every time Apple's coming out with a new phone, they put out a software update to make the current phone slower, so you upgrade.
I agree with you there.
It's a conspiracy theory, but I'm actually experiencing that a little bit, so there might be some truth to that. But that could be also because I had to restore my whole phone. All my apps are still being installed, and that could be causing it. But I am really impressed with iOS 6. All the new features I'm really enjoying, especially the new App Store and not having to put in my password every single time that I update an app.
That's really cool.
Like, that's huge to me, and that's been something I've been wanting for a while. Also, that when you're downloading apps from the App Store, it doesn't kick you out of that app to install it. That's also another big thing. So I think I really enjoy it. I want to hear what you guys think.
Yeah, let us know how your update went, and let us know what your favorite features are. Hit us up on Twitter, on Facebook, and subscribe to us here on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. And we'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys.